I could be running around naked and you'd still be like, waterfall. Hey there, adventurers. My name is Alexandra, and welcome to Take It Before You Kick It, the podcast where we talk about everything that should be on your adventure bucket list and some hilarious travel stories. So this week, we are going to be talking about one of the most hidden gem Colorado state parks. You do actually two. We are currently at Rifle Gap State Park, and about 8 minutes away is Rifle Falls State Park. And we're going to be coming to you telling you all about this beautiful destination and how we've never heard of it. Have you heard of it?
No.
I am joined here by my mother, who lives full-time with me in this RV adventure. We are traveling across the U.S. and Colorado, bringing you all the things that you can put on your adventure bucket list. And this one really took my breath away here. So let's start a little bit about what is Rifle Falls State Park. It basically was an established park in 1966, and this area was originally part of a settlement used by early pioneers in the late 1800s. So the falls themselves has always been the main attraction. I mean, it steals the show.
Absolutely.
And that's saying a lot because this area is very, very beautiful. It was originally settled for agricultural purposes, but then people just began to realize that it just had stunning natural beauty, and the surrounding areas, it's about, 45 minutes away from Glenwood Springs? Mm-hmm. So, and we actually hiked Hanging Lake, which is another beautiful waterfall. We'll have to do a little podcast on that one later. However, that was about an hour away, so it's really conveniently located away from everything, but you don't need to go far because we're set up here in Rifle Gap State Park. And yeah, Rifle Falls is only about 8 minutes away. It's wonderful. And what makes this so amazing? So the crown jewel of Rifle Falls State Park is undoubtedly the triple waterfalls. And yes, I said triple. They are 70 feet high. I looked up a picture of this, as did you, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that's really cool, but I bet it's really lame. I've just seen so many amazing waterfalls everywhere else, like Bali and Fiji, and I'm just not used to these cascading long 70 plus foot waterfalls, and there's 3 in this location. So tell us your experience of seeing these waterfalls for the first time.
You know what I really liked about this is whenever I go someplace, I'm always thinking, who needs to come back here and see it?
She's a people pleaser.
I am a people pleaser and an enabler. But these falls are so spectacular, it's not a crazy hike.
No.
Really, anybody can go.
Probably like 2 minutes.
Yeah, maybe 2 minutes. So you just park your car and just walk to the falls.
Yeah, because that's the thing about Hanging Lake is that, yeah, it's beautiful, but you need to hike 3 hours in order to get to it.
Exactly.
But with these ones, you really don't need to hike at all. They're right there. They do have an interconnected woven trail network that can let you see the waterfalls from different angles, which is pretty cool. Like you can actually go above the waterfall to both sides and out in front. So that was really cool. But the initial trek to the waterfall is really nothing.
It's really not. So I'd say it's really a falls that anyone can go see. My knees are terrible, and it was an easy jaunt from the parking lot. And then you just turn the corner, and the power and the noise, it was just spectacular. Like jaw-dropping spectacular.
Yeah, well, yeah, our jaws dropped to the floor.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then talk a little bit about when we went to the left and started going up these trails, what we found accidentally.
Caves. There's caves.
We love caves. We had no clue that there were caves.
And so we just kind of thought they were mere dents in the mountain. But you can actually go inside these caves and explore.
Yeah, there's some pretty big chambers in there.
Yeah, and we actually are going to go back and just do the caves. We were just so obsessed with the waterfall that we just couldn't leave.
There's so many caves, and one of the caves you kind of squeeze through, and it's so surprisingly dark.
Very dark.
For how shallow it is. I don't know. It's like not that deep. I mean, it's a pretty good chamber for a cave.
I mean, if you're a caver, these are lame. But if you're for somebody who doesn't go caving or spelunking that often, it was such a treat. Just a complete surprise.
Yeah, and we had no clue. We were going for the waterfalls, and then whoop, there's the caves.
And I think there's a lot of them. And so
I think we missed a lot of them.
We missed a lot of them.
We're going to have to go back.
I know. Gotta go back.
Just have to go back. So let's talk about some of the logistics of Rifle Falls and these waterfalls just to better help you if you do want to go here. So let's talk about the location. This is about 14 miles north of the town of Rifle, Colorado, which again, have never heard of. We were previously staying in Silt.
We had never heard of.
Nothing into it. But as I said, it's a little bit farther away from Glenwood Springs. Glenwood Springs is about, 2.5 hours, 3 hours from Denver?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it's definitely a day hike. You could do it.
You basically go up I-70, which is, we make a joke. It's Colorado's most terrible road. I don't know. What do you think is Colorado's most terrible road?
Colorado Boulevard or I-70. The potholes.
I-70, it's the only way in and out from the mountains, and if you want to go skiing in any of the major resorts like Breckenridge and Keystone and A-Bay, Loveland, Copper, Vale, literally all of them are up I-70, and there's just only one way in, one way out, unless you want to drive like 5 hours over Independent Pass. And I just feel like, oh man, what was the joke that they were making? It's like, oh yeah, they call it I-70 because you're either going 7 or 0. The amount of times I've been stuck on this road. Oh, anyway, so you do have to go up I-70. However, once you get past, there's this drive called Glenwood Canyon.
Oh.
And it's one of my favorite things ever.
It actually is.
It's incredible. Like, it's literally a drive where you just drive and you have rock faces going straight up. And I'm, again,
it's phenomenal.
Good sucker for mountain roads. If you do want to hear my Glenwood Springs bucket list, because I have an entire article on everything that you can do in Glenwood Springs, plus hiking Hanging Lake if you are interested in that. Yeah, so that's close to Rifle, and then you just would basically keep going on I-70, and then it's about like a 25-minute drive once you get off of I-70. It was definitely interesting bringing the rig. We drive this massive rig, and we always make this joke. She goes forwards and I go backwards, but I wanted to mix it up.
Because she just thought, oh, look, a 20-minute drive. How bad could that be? And then these roads ended up being very narrow, 2-lane, and windy. So you're just going and just praying that you just don't clip something.
Oh gosh, yeah. And I missed the left turn into Rifle Gap and started going towards Rifle Falls, and ended up turning on this random road and making this really tight U-turn. And I'm so glad that I ended up making it, but yeah, super stressful. So keep that in mind if you do have larger vehicles, that these roads are a little bit tight, at least for our massive 42-foot fifth wheel.
Exactly. Exactly.
Some of the things that you can do at Rifle Falls. As I said, you can go caving, you can go hiking. I did read that there were some wildlife watching and camping. When we were actually going to Rifle Falls, we saw some of the rangers giving a class with shooting. So I'm not quite sure what that was all about, but that's really cool.
Class.
Like a hunting class, maybe. That's pretty fun. And then camping. So we're currently camped at Rifle Gap, which again is about 8 minutes away from Rifle Falls.
Because it's right on the water. The water is beautifully green, and you can paddleboard to your heart's content. It's just this small little lake surrounded by mountains.
Honestly, I love it here.
I love it here.
This is an amazing RV destination. If you have an RV, this needs to be on your list 100%. There are some really, really good spots here,
and we are going to label them for you so you know which spots to get.
Yes, I'm going to do an entire guide to Rifle Gap State Park. So definitely keep your eye out for that. I will link it in the show notes, and it's also on my website, thebucketlistmermaid.com. And then also there's actually camping at Rifle Falls itself. It's very tiny. At Rifle Falls, they have 13 spots. And the little ranger said that they do fill up pretty quickly from like 3 to 6 months. So
in advance, yes. And there's a lot of shade. Mm-hmm. So as far as wooded and shaded, it's awesome. Mm-hmm. But there's no lake.
You are like walking distance within the waterfall, so that's a perk.
Oh, yeah, from every spot.
Yeah, definitely. There's some pull-through spots. Like, it's pretty nice and shaded.
It was very clean. Just very organized well.
Very clean. Rifle Gap, I feel like, is more for the panoramic lake mountain views. There's not a ton of shade, but...
we'll take it.
You know, we'll take it. So, best time to visit. I would say summer or winter. We are here in the heat of summer, and it's beautiful.
Toasty.
It is a little toasty. It did cool off a little bit, but it's kind of perfect for going and exploring those waterfalls. You might get more crowds since it's summer. It was pretty crowded when we went. People know it's cool, so keep that in mind.
Yes.
However, I did see a picture of it on the official Rifle Falls State Park website of it in winter.
Oh.
And something about how, because there's constant water, it like crystallizes and makes these little ice structures and caves in there. So this might be pretty cool too in winter. So I think
really
either summer or winter, but yeah.
But, I mean, spring would be fine. Fall would be fine.
Actually, yeah, fall, you would get the fall leaves.
So really, anytime. And plus, it's not, if you do come here in the winter, you don't have to cross a lot of icy terrain to get to this waterfall.
Yeah, that is true. You would only have to, brave it. I mean, unless you wanted to hike the trails. But hey, I'd still do it.
I would do it too.
I'd still do it, 100%.
But we're crazy.
Yeah, we are. We are just a little bit crazy. If you haven't heard our episode on rafting the Royal Gorge, we joked that little tiny voice that tells you that this probably isn't a good idea. That little voice is tied up and thrown in the back room with both of us. So... And that's just who we are. There you go. So the entrance fee, this is a state park. So keep in mind that you will need to show your vehicle registration if you do have that state park pass on your vehicle registration. If not, I believe the daily entrance fee is $10.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So yeah, not terrible. But if you do have that state park entrance fee pass on your vehicle registration, go for it, whip it out,
absolutely.
and you'll get in for free.
But very impressed.
I'm gonna be honest, it did not feel like Colorado. I felt like we were in Africa or something.
Yes.
Like it just felt so cool, and I just love any sort of waterfall, but to see those 3 cascading waterfalls, and you can actually kind of walk behind them to the left a little bit.
Oh, you can.
And you can see the back of them or go around. They're just stunning.
But seeing a waterfall from the back is just fun because you don't really get to do it that often.
Right. And of course, I had to take my mermaid tail because I'm a traveling mermaid, and the pictures are just... Let's just say you're not looking at my tail. You're looking at the waterfalls steal the show. 100%. I could be running around naked and you'd still be like, waterfall.
Yes. Oh, yes.
It's definitely a must visit for anyone looking to experience just the beauty of Colorado in a serene and pretty accessible. Like, I feel like it's wheelchair accessible.
I think we could take Bappa up there.
Yes, Bappa is our handicapped grandfather, and we're just constantly looking for things for him to do.
Yes, but I think if we got on each side of his wheelchair, I think we could 4-wheel it for just a little bit.
Oh yeah, we're very aware of all of the ADA stuff, but I think he could actually do that one, and that would be one heck of a jaunt for El Bapo.
Yeah, because I think the only time he's been behind a waterfall is Casa Bonita, so this definitely beats Casa Bonita.
Different from Casa Bonita. Oh my gosh! If you didn't know, Casa Bonita is a very iconic restaurant down in Denver.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's currently being renovated.
Yes.
And
they did a phenomenal job.
They just finished it, and people are lining up just to get on the waiting list.
I think we actually waited over a year.
But they have a huge waterfall. I'm going to be honest, this waterfall, better than Casa Bonita.
Oh, sure.
However, there are not any cliff divers at this waterfall. Full disclaimer.
Yes, you are not allowed to put any appendage into the water.
Yes, and because it's so clear.
It's so clear.
The water is so clear. Absolutely love it. The triple waterfalls alone are worth the trip, worth the drive. But, just all the park's trails, the caves, the camping spot, it just makes it a destination. Like, we're going to come back.
I would come back every year.
It is absolutely amazing. So definitely tell us what you think. Would you go a little bit out of your way to go to this Colorado hidden gem that not a lot of people, including locals, know about? Or would you stick to the more touristy areas? Definitely let me know in the comments in the show notes, and definitely go visit those show notes because I'm going to be putting in all the resources to get you here just to make sure that you can check this off of your adventure bucket list. I just want to see you pack your bags, lace your hiking boots, and just get ready to fall in love with Rifle Falls.
Absolutely.
Huge thumbs up to this.
Now, I don't think it had a Pokestop, so it doesn't get a 10 out of 10.
My mother is still obsessed with Pokemon. For all my Pokemon lovers, please let me know because she is still knee-deep in the Pokemon.
Oh yes, way past when it was really cool.
So there is no Pokestop at Rifle Falls State Park.
But there is a Hanging Lake.
Yeah, she was playing Pokemon all the way to Hanging Lake. Well, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next week. Keep adventuring.